Hey, what's up? It's Kuno. We're gonna be talking about Pokemon. So one of the major accomplishments in Pokemon is completing the Pokédex in each game, which in its own right is very difficult of a task, especially with the addition of the National Dex in Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. However, there's an additional goal called the Living Dex where you complete the Pokédex while having a Pokemon for every single Pokédex entry, which is slightly harder in Pokemon Red and Blue due to there not being a breeding mechanic. However, it is easier in later games, which even above that, there is a variant called the Shining Living Dex where you get a shiny variant of every single Pokemon in the Pokédex. This has been done by previous YouTubers for specific games, but it's very uncommon to do for the entire series. Of course, this is a very difficult and time-consuming challenge that only very few people have done within a reasonable, legitimate means, because it is nearly impossible to do as there are Pokemon who are locked behind Wi-Fi vents like Shaman and Manphy that either have no means of receiving a shiny variant or being shiny locked entirely. With a questionable sanity level, I set out to complete this challenge alongside with the notion that I'll collect every Pokemon in the oldest game they appear, in which for the first 151 Pokemon, that leads us to Pokemon Red and Blue. As stated previously, it's already very difficult to finish the Pokédex due to the limitation of a breeding mechanic, but also there is not really shiny Pokemon in the original versions of the game. However, you are able to transfer Pokemon from Pokemon Blue to Gold and Silver, and they have the ability to be shiny if their IVs are correct, which the odds, I believe, are 1 in 8,192. However, I can be wrong, so please let me know in the comments, as information around Pokemon Blue/Red shiny hunting is very lackluster in regards to what the odds are. So to not completely lose 6 years off my lifespan shiny hunting, I decided to also allow myself to use any glitch or exploit within each game to be able to attain each Pokemon's shiny variant, which I'll cover later on in the video whenever these mechanics come up. A major note for this challenge was I did it on stream, and I don't have any contestants using emulators, but I like to play on the official hardware when I play games, especially Pokemon games. So during stream I was using the NTR-CFW method, which doesn't let you output the trading process. However, I now currently have a capture card 3DS from Loopy, link in the description, that will fix this issue in later gens. So I sadly cannot show the trading process for all of the version exclusives. However, I can show the trading for in-game trade Pokemon like Farfetch'd. So I am sorry for not being able to show this for this video, but I will mention when I do trade all of the exclusive Pokemon over during the Shiny Collection segment. Additionally, the first half of this video, I recap my first playthrough of Pokemon Blue in 17 years, broken up into the days I streamed. So if you're uninterested in seeing someone replay Pokemon Blue, you can jump ahead to the timestamp on stream now to get into the Shiny Hunting section with the overview of glitches used to be able to complete the challenge for Generation 1. With that said, thank you for watching, and let's get into my horrible playthrough. So, beginning off the first day, we name our character Kuno, and our rival after my high school best friend Zach. I fumble around with the colors of the game, not realizing why it's so blue on the capture. I wonder why it's blue. Entering into the game, we pull out the PC potion and head towards the grassy area where Professor Oak basically kidnaps us. Afterwards, we collect our unnamed starter Pokemon Charmander. No. And we easily beat Zach, leveling up to level 6. After not getting an encounter while walking to Radiant City, we heal up Charmander and get Oak's parcel from the Pokemart. On our walk back to Pallet Town, we get our first wild encounter Rattata named Jim. Delivering the parcel, we get gifted a Pokédex and finish up with the introduction, officially starting our extensive journey. Talking to Zach's sister, we obtain the town map. While walking back to Radiant Town, we crit a Rattata hitting level 7, purchase 10 Pokeballs from the shop, catch a Rattata for 2 out of 151, and a Caterpie. Entering into Viridian Forest, we waste our only potion healing up Charmander instead of returning to a Poke Center, level up to level 8 and 9 on the same Bug Catcher trainer. We finally reach the end of Viridian Forest where we hit the exit Bug Catcher, which we quickly defeat, leveling us up to level 10. Once we reach Pewter City, we heal up and face the trainers in Brock's gym, instantly fainting on the first trainer. We decide to backtrack a little bit where we catch Pidgey, and entering into Viridian Forest, we instantly encounter a Pikachu, catching it. Oh my god, a fucking Pikachu! After leveling up to level 11, we return to Brock's gym, being able to defeat the first trainer, and reaching level 12 and 13 off of them. That was the most needed berg ever. Holy Facing Brock, we're able to chip damage his Geodude, taking it out with losing only half our HP. Once he sends out his Onix, we use a potion to full heal our Charmander and try to chip damaging the Onix as well with the use of Ember, where we are able to just barely skim by with 7 HP left, hit level 14, and receive the Boulder Badge. The Boulder Badge? Or is that all one word? Heading towards Route 3, we quickly hit level 15, and level 16 with our Charmander evolving into Charmeleon. Oh, okay. We're at 6 Pokemon found. But yeah, Grimsky, I think the Pokemon Oak challenge would be cool. While going through Mount Moon, we hit level 22 on Charmander and catch a Paris. So once reaching the latter section of the mountain, we get challenged by the Super Nerd, which we quickly take care of with our Charmeleon. After we collect the Helix fossil, as I wasn't sure which one was better to take at the time. I know everyone's like, the dome's better, or whatever. They're the same for me. After exiting the mountain, we catch a Sandshrew that I totally don't neglect for the rest of the run. On a side note, I would like to apologize for the color shift here. I had added a filter to fix the color key for the game to match what my DS output looked like, as it being blue was kinda really messing with my head for whatever reason. After a bad attempt at beating Misty, we catch a Sparrow and head north to the Battle Bridge. The Battle Bridge itself was not a major challenge, and I overall was using it to level up our Pikachu, in the process hitting level 11, and our Charmeleon reaches level 26. I'm not paying $50 just to play one game. Once reaching Bill's house, we help transform him back into a human and get the SSAN ticket. Returning back to Misty, we have a God tier fight with Caterpie having her Starmie miss 5 attacks in a row, either failing due to paralysis or missing entirely. In a God tier RNG way, she missed her first attack due to paralysis, which is a 25% chance, then missing a Water Gun, a 100% attack move, which missed due to how the game calculates a hit being a 1 in 256 chance of missing, alongside 3 more paralysis misses, totaling a 1 in 65,536 chance of happening, or a 0.0015% chance, which means me getting a shiny in Gen 2 is 8 times more likely than this happening again. Nevertheless, Caterpie fans will always remain in our hearts for the valiant effort. Of course. Gets the hopes up and then just stomps you. We backtrack towards Bill's house, level up Pikachu to level 13, and Charmeleon to level 27. Yeah. Caterpie was doing some work. Retaking on Misty, we quickly find out that I'm a monkey with a typewriter and rethrow the same strategy until it works no matter how much time it takes. After wiping out multiple times, we finally get good RNG, easily taking down Staryu and switching out to Pikachu to paralyze her Starmie with Thunder Wave and getting off a Thunder Strike before Pikachu faints. Switching back to Charmeleon, we're able to knock her Starmie down to 10 HP, having Zubat finish it off and earning us the Cascade Badge, ending off the first day. Starting up day 2, we leave Cerulean City, catch a Bellsprout and a Meowth, marking our total Pokemon caught to 14. Reaching Vermilion City, we obtain the old route and catch a Magikarp. After getting lost for a couple of minutes, we end up on the SS and fighting each of the trainers in their rooms to gather slightly more EXP. Nearly reaching the captain, we face off Zack again and quickly beat him due to being level 31, which is way over leveled. Ad break. Oh, I just never added a background color. Talking to the captain, we obtain the HM cut, letting us face off Lieutenant Surge. However, beforehand, I thought it would be fun to showcase a minor glitch I know of, where you fish inside of the statue in the Thunder Gym, which lets you encounter a Magikarp. I can't believe that still works. Well, of course this is gonna work. They didn't patch the game, but just funny that works. After struggling with the door puzzle, we're able to challenge Lieutenant Surge, which we lose due to Charmeleon being paralyzed before the fight, because I did not realize I needed to heal. After wiping, we're able to quickly beat him without any major issues, and we're able to tame our third badge, the Thunder Badge. No confirmation on... Entering into Diglett's cave, we catch a Diglett and exit back onto Route 2. However, without realizing, I walk by Professor Oak's aid to receive the HM Flash and end up costing myself about an hour of backtracking to find it. After yet again getting lost, which will be a repeated pattern, we head through Mount Moon and catch another Geodude, as I forgot I already caught one earlier. Without realizing, I use an escape rope and end up all the way back in Vermilion City. Am I all the way back in... Yeah, okay. I did not know it took you to the last Pokemon Center you were at, so you just teleported me to the other side of the app. Because we're all the way back at Vermilion City, I decided to go towards Route 11 and capture a Drowsy. Thank you. After about 40 minutes of not realizing where I should go and aimlessly wandering around, we finally end up receiving the HM Flash. I caught 18, fuck. Heading back to Cerulean City, we finally end up in the Rock Tunnel where we save and end out our second day. Starting up on day 3, we continue our journey through Rock Tunnel where we quickly catch a Machop and a Onix, bringing our total caught Pokemon to 20. After fighting one of the hikers, our Charmeleon reaches level 26 and evolves into Charizard. After fainting and buying repels, we're able to go through the entirety of the Rock Tunnel and finally exit to Lavender Town. Logos. As a tiny side note, unrelated to the playthrough, they didn't have to go this hard on the Lavender Town theme song. I always really liked the song, even though it became a creepypasta thing and a lot of people were like, oh, this this creeps me out, but I really do like the song. I don't want to be one of those people who are like, oh, older music's better, but this is genuinely like a top 10 Pokemon theme song. Not staying too long in Lavender Town, we head towards Route 8 to enter into the underground path to reach Celadon City, where we enter the Game Corner. While in the Game Corner, we take on the trainer standing guard, quickly beat him, allowing us to enter into the Team Rocket base. I would not have known if you would have just not said nothing. If you would have just shut up, I would never have known. I am all about gambling. After about another 20 minutes, we find the correct Rocket member and obtain the elevator key. Facing Giovanni, we quickly wipe out his team due to being overleveled and obtain the Self Scope, ending off our day 3. Beginning day 4, we're still in Celadon City, where we collect the coin case, and begin gambling. Like all Counter-Strike players, I have an addictive tendency to gamble. After about 10 minutes of gambling, we win 40 coins and leave the game corner. That's a net positive. I think we went, like we added 1 coin. Shortly after, we head back to Route 8 to return to Lavender Town to go through the Pokemon Tower. After quickly beating Zack, we'd continue up the tower. Smell you later. Smell you later, Stinky. Where we realize that ghost types exist, and I have no high level Pokemon able to counter them, so we backtrack to Route 8 to swap level our Pokemon to be able to level them up. Returning to the Pokemon Tower, we somehow catch a Haunter while it's at full health. I caught a Haunter! Once we reach the Infinite Heal Pad, we use it to be able to level up our Rattata to level 19. And we leveled up. Using the Silph Scope, we're able to see Cubone's mom and defeat her. But the issue, like, I'm talking about is a lot of the Pokemon, if you want to transfer them forward. Reaching the top of the tower, we're able to completely wipe all of the Team Rocket members, saving Mr. Fuji and receiving the Pokeflute. I don't know, I went on like a really strong tangent there. But like, it's so funny to me that I started this challenge and then Nintendo goes, yeah, f*** you. After collecting the HM Fly on Route 16, we challenged the Celadon Gym leader, Erica. Just like the other trainers we faced thus far, Erica had given us little to no issues at all beating, and once we knock out her Vileplume, we collect our 4th gym badge, the Rainbow Badge. So yeah, I was never a major Pikachu fan, but I was always a Plus on Mining fan, but I guess that's because I also played Platinum a lot more, and I think those 2 guys were in that. After purchasing lemonade for the route guards, we're able to enter Saffron City and challenge the Silph Company. One of the major things that must be apparent at this point is I get lost, and we were pretty much lost for a good 40 minutes, and after that point we were able to reach Giovanni and quickly beat him for a 2nd time. Attaining the Master Ball. Afterwards, we heal up our Pokemon and enter the Saffron Gym to face off Sabrina. For whatever reason, I always find it impossible to understand the teleport tiles, and it took an extremely long amount of time figuring out how to get to her square. I spent so long figuring it out, in fact, I actually beat Sabrina faster than it took me to reach her in the first place. So, without much issue, we take her out, marking our 5th gym badge, the Marsh Badge. Oh, I'm... Never mind. Wait, add in a minute. We end the day heading towards Fuchsia City the long way, as I was unable to figure out how to collect the bicycle to go on the bike route. Starting off day 5, we reach Fuchsia City without major issues as we are still actively overleveled with Charizard, and go right into facing Koga for the Soul Badge. Starting off the fight, we are already down nearly 70 HP on our Charizard. I decide to open up with Rage to try building up intact to be able to wipe out his team. However, Koga's coughing uses Smog, instantly poisoning us. However, we're still able to chip damage his coughing until we knock it out, leaving us at around 110 HP. Koga sends out his Monk, which we don't have a major issue facing, quickly wiping it out. However, we take a considerable amount of damage to Charizard, which faints due to poison on the next turn. Switching to Raticate, we try scumming his coughing, which works out exceptionally well for us until Raticate misses, which causes us to faint as well. Sending out Pikachu, we're able to chip damage his coughing until it passes out, where Koga decides to send out his wheezing right after, poisoning us. With major luck on our side, he decides to self-destruct, earning us our 6th gym badge, the Soul Badge. The f***? Entering the Safari Zone, we decide to catch a bunch of Pokemon we most definitely will not use at this point, and finally head towards the final zone where the secret house is, where we collect the HM Surf. However, at this moment in time, I didn't know about the gold teeth and how they are important to being able to finish the game, so I decided to stat rush right next to the item's location. Flying back to Pallet Town, we decided to surf to Cinnabar Island, where we directly enter into the Pokemon Mansion. For the next 20 minutes, I stumble around trying to figure out how the Pokemon Mansion works and how to unlock different areas. I cannot believe how simplistic this building is and how long it took me to figure it out. However, we eventually reached the final section, securing the secret key. Afterwards, we go on to challenge Blaine, where it was similar to previous gyms where we reached that last Pokemon fairly quickly. Blaine took himself out by using Takedown, knocking his Arcanine out with the recoil, causing us to get our 7th gym badge, the Volcano badge. If we live, I swear I'm gonna be so... That's the second time a gym leader killed himself in front of me. Returning to Viridian City, we enter the final gym and face off against Giovanni for the last time. It's Giovanni! Like the last 2 times we faced him, I completely wiped his team within a minute, which is kinda lackluster as I remember it being a lot harder. I actually didn't know him having a Persian was based around the anime and not something original to the Pokemon Red and Blue games. He feels kind of incomplete without it in my opinion. After winning, we receive our final badge, the Earth Badge, marking the final leg of our beginning playthrough. Bro, you literally just killed this Pokemon by just not attacking. We head towards the Indigo Plateau, running into Zack. On our first attempt at beating him, we get wiped on his last Pokemon Blastoise. However, on the second attempt, I finally strategize for the tiniest amount and send out my completely underleveled Pikachu to be able to paralyze Blastoise to give us enough hits to be able to take it out. Oh, we won. All it took was minute pre-planning. After beating Zack, we pass through all 8 gym badge checks, which allows us to enter Victory Road. While trying to go through Victory Road, we hit a roadblock, that being a boulder, due to me not having H-Gym strength on any of my Pokemon. Do you need like a TM? After one quick Google search and me feeling like an idiot, we backtrack massively to Fuchsia City to return to the Safari Zone to obtain the gold teeth. Afterwards, we're able to fully get through Victory Road. Our first attempt at facing L'Oreal went as well as expected, and we got wiped relatively quickly because I don't have any Pokemon that can counter a water type. So for the rest of the day, we level up Pikachu high enough to be able to wipe out our team and use Charizard for the rest. This didn't really work out well, and I spent around 2 hours leveling up both Charizard and Pikachu. At the start of the 6th day, we level up both Pikachu and Charizard until I believe they're high enough level. However, after about 20 minutes and multiple failed attempts, we wipe out on Zack's Rhydon, where we end up coming up with a partial strategy. During L'Oreal's fight, we mainly focus on using Charizard and Pikachu to wipe out our team. We nearly get through all of her Pokemon with just Charizard, but it gets knocked out, forcing us to switch to Pikachu, which we mainly just use at this point to revive Charizard, who was able to take out her Lapras easily. Because of Bruno's typing being somewhat easier, and in my opinion his Pokemon not being as strong, we're able to use Charizard's moveset to take out nearly all of his Pokemon until his final one, which is very similar to how L'Oreal's fight just went. We switch out to Eradicate just to revive Charizard, who was able to take out his Machamp with just 1 more strength. Beating Bruno marks where we begin having problems with the Elite Four, as Agatha is a Ghost-type trainer, which is not directly an issue, however it is for us due to me mainly only having Charizard leveled up, however we're able to use my level 13 Bellsprout to be able to tank hits long enough for us to use potions to heal up Charizard all the way back to full. Sadly, her Haunter puts us to sleep and Chips damages us all the way back down to 28 HP. We're able to take it down with a nearly half HP Flamethrower hit. With luck on our side, we're able to clear both her Arbok and Gengar without taking any further damage. All you had to do is wake up and we would have full health. Nobody hit you after she used any of those moves. Healing up Charizard, we take on Lance, where we get insane luck with hitting 2 critical hits back to back, taking out his Gyarados. However, it was able to get a Hydro Pump off on us, knocking us back down to 90 HP. We're able to take out his first Dragonair without major issue. However, when he sends out his second one, we just barely miss one-shotting it, giving it the ability to use Hyper Beam, knocking us down to 6 HP left, which gives us the ability to get a strength off, knocking out the second Dragonair. I decide just to eat whatever damage his Aerodactyl might do and go for a max potion. We get lucky and it misses us on its first attack. We're able to easily take it out from this point without taking any damage, leaving us at full HP. He sends out his final Pokemon, a Dragonite, which after hitting each other back and forth, we're able to take down without much issue, leveling us up to level 69. I think Gen 3 would be the hardest. So after contemplating for some time, the strategy that developed for Zach is that we would save Scum him, as I didn't want to have to refight all of the Elite Four again, as I also had no more money to spend on revives. Going through our items, we're able to put a Fissure on Charizard, which I plan on using one of the hit PPs on his Blastoise. However, the issue with Fissure is that it is a 30% move in which on multiple tries we missed all 5 attacks at once, so after spending an hour of attempts alone, we're able to get a good run. Because we ran out of max HP, so we start the fight off being down 80 HP. We're able to lead with a flamethrower, taking this Pidgeot down to nearly a quarter HP left. It misses its first attack as we are unaffected by it, giving us the chance to use Skull Bash, taking it out. One of the strategies I figured out is if we continuously hit his Alakazam, he will continuously waste his full restores, giving us the chance to go into his next Pokemon without him being able to revive them, hopefully. We get really lucky and get off a critical hit strength, one-shotting his Alakazam. Zach sends out his Rhydon, which is the first Pokemon we specifically need to use Fissure on to be able to take it out without losing a huge amount of HP. Using our first of 5 Fissures, we miss, causing us to waste a second one that also misses. We take the chance and use a third Fissure, hitting his Rhydon, one-shotting it as well. However, we are now left with just 2 Fissures. He sends out his Arcanine, which is not a major concern of ours as it is a fire type, meaning both our moves are not vastly effective against each other. However, we get lucky and hit him with a normal and a critical hit strength, taking it out without losing any of our HP. Very similar to his Arcanine, his Executor is not a major concern for this run. However, he has the ability to use Hypnosis, which if it gets off, we get put to sleep, forcing us to restart again. But luck is on our side, and it decides to use Stomp instead, allowing us to easily two-shot it with both a Flamethrower and a Strength. He sends out his final Pokemon Blastoise, which we open with a Fissure that we instantly miss. He uses Hydro Pump, instantly knocking out our Charizard. Switching out to Poliwag, we use our final revive on Charizard, switching back over to it after it takes out our Poliwag. We use our final Fissure and it hits, one-shotting his Blastoise. We won! Woo! Oh, you didn't believe! You didn't believe! Dreams can come true! Beating Zach the final time makes us the Pokemon Champion, marking my first playthrough of Pokemon Blue in 16 years complete. So how did we do? We ended up catching 34 total Pokemon and finishing the entire playthrough in 12 hours and 14 minutes. I feel if I planned out a better strategy in the beginning and didn't have multiple times to backtrack to find multiple items like the gold teeth for strength or leveling up Pokemon, we might have gotten below 10 hours. I wasn't really trying to rush this or do like a speedrun playthrough, as I've done those before, just not in a recorded sense. But I have a ton of nostalgia for this version of the game, as like I said before, this is the first Pokemon game I ever played on a Game Boy Color, so I actually have a huge amount of nostalgia for it, and I'm really grateful to be able to go back and play it through the 3DS. So this is the ending of the first part of the video. We're going to go into an intermission of me talking for whatever reason, and then going into the shiny hunt section. Hey guys, just want to say thank you for watching to the halfway point of the video. I'm not really sure what to put in the intermission to 2 videos as I don't have sponsors or whatever. So just want to say thank you. I hope you enjoy the second half and we'll get right into it. Welcome to the second part of the video, where the main focus is getting every Pokemon shiny from Pokemon Red and Blue. To go over how that is possible, during the second generation Pokemon games, they added shinies and have been a staple for the game ever since. However, they added a secondary function of being able to trade forward from Gen 1 to Gen 2, meaning Pokemon caught in Gen 1 can now be transferred and be shiny. The way Gen 2 calculates if a Pokemon is shiny or not is by looking at its individual IV spread, which is also why for a long while, in the competitive scene there wasn't any shiny Pokemon used because the spread isn't that good. There are different spreads needed based on the game it is moved forward to, however universally the best IV spread for transferring is a 0 IV for HP and 10 IVs for all the other stats, those being speed, attack, defense, and special defense/attack. IVs are values that are static and cannot be changed outside of, from my knowledge, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, so it was originally super hard to even get a shiny, especially as a kid if you didn't realize that it was rare. During this part of the streams I was going to RNG roll for every Pokemon to be able to call them legitimate, however I wanted to spare my own sanity and decided to do a method Austin John had made a video about by getting a shiny Mew from Gen 1 all the way to Sword and Shield, which can work for Scarlet and Violet as well. I'll have that video in the description if you'd like to watch it, but I'll give a brief overview of the methodology he did. Additionally, if you learn better through reading text, I'll have the 2 Reddit posts linked in the description that cover this in writing as well, however they may be a little scarce in information. Those posts are written by Crumblethorn and TransgenderPride respectively. So going into the glitches, I would recommend having a finished red save file as you're able to have all the items you'll need later on, and it'll be easier to do the different glitches needed to pull everything off. However, it may be more beneficial to do this as early as you can to be able to utilize Trainer Fly Glitch later on for the harder Pokemon to get like Eevee. Firstly, the major glitch to obtain an unlimited number of items is called the Ultimate Glitch or the Missingo Glitch. This glitch only affects your 6th item in your item slot. To do the glitch, go to Viridian City and speak to the old man and have him teach you how to catch a Pokemon. Once finished, you fly to Cinnabar Island and surf on the far right tiles. Without fully leaving the island, you may encounter Pokemon that aren't Missingo, but keep trying until you do. Finding Missingo, defeat it, and you'll get an additional 128 to your 6th item slot. Doing this twice for rare candies as you'll need a lot. The next step is to catch all the Pokemon needed, those being a Pidgey at 233 HP, Parasect, Onix, Tentacruel, and Kangaskhan. If you're playing on Pokemon Blue, you have to use the Trainer Fly glitch to get a Paras or trade it from a finished red save. Alternatively, if you'd rather skip that process, a Pokemon Blue save can be used on a Pokemon Red game, and vice versa, so you can catch the exclusives that way as well. The way I obtained Kangaskhan is that I just went through the Safari Zone route, as I was unable to figure out how to get it otherwise. The method that I used for Pidgey is to level up past the point it has 233 HP, and use a low level Pokemon to chip damage it until its HP is lowered. You could also get it poisoned and have its HP slowly lowered that way as well. The levels and HP stat for all the Pokemon don't matter outside of Pidgey, which needs to be 233. This is the most tedious point, but in the end it'll be worth it. The reason we'll use Kangaskhan over Arbok like many other guide videos tell you to, as it will target the first Pokemon in your box instead of the first Pokemon in your party list, which will make shinying multiple Pokemon faster. A secondary glitch I used to attain all the Pokemon is the Trainer Fly glitch or Mew glitch. I used to Radiant City the entire time so as to not get confused where I had done the glitch if I took a pause break in between attempts. To do the glitch, cross the battle bridge and turn left, dropping a save, step onto the tile where the trainer can encounter you, and spam the menu option. If you did it correctly, it should pop up where you will use either fly or teleport to be able to escape. If you had done it correctly, you'll see the exclamation mark appear, but before the battle starts, you get warped to the area you selected. Once there, you cannot open your menu until you do at least one encounter, which then will give you access to be able to play the game normally. As long as you do not return to the battle bridge, the glitch is active and will only look at your last encountered Pokemon. Looking through the TFC map, link in the description, you'll be able to see which trainer gives which encounters. For example, Sabrina's first Pokemon gives an Eevee encounter, so fainting on her first Mon and flying back to the battle bridge lets you be able to catch a level 7 Eevee. However, with this glitch you're unable to get the starters in their base form due to how it overall works, which looks at the encounter Pokemon's special stat value. So with both of these glitches in mind, we begin the process of setting up the third and final glitch, Arbitrary Code Execution or ACE. I know a lot of the time people cover this, but keeping in mind this may be something new to people who've never played the original games as they were released over 27 years ago. So ACE allows you to be able to run your own individual code within the game, which in our case sets our first Pokemon in our selected box to have the IVs we want, which are 0 in the HP and 10 in every other stat covered earlier. To To be able to pull this off, you need the combination of Pokemon mentioned above and the items listed in this section, which are any item in the first slot, 8F in the second slot, 170 Lemonades, 178 X Accuracies, 218 Carbos, 119 Pokeballs, 170 Lemonades, 177 X Accuracies, 218 Carbos, 119 Pokeballs, and 201 Freshwaters in that order. Keep it in mind, what I read online is that this item list only works on the English version of Pokemon Red and Blue, and that there's another list of items for other languages which I was unable to find online, so if you're going to use this glitch, I would recommend just using the English version of it. You may be wondering what 8F is. Reading through Bulbapedia, link also in the description, it causes the program counter to jump to the RAM location that stores the number of Pokemon in the player's party. This value, as well as values stored just after, such as the contents of the player's party and their bag, is particularly easy to modify right off the bat, and as such, this may be considered one of the easiest arbitrary code execution setups to perform once the item has been attained. So from what I gather, it is a code call function specifically to the player's party, stored data, and the code afterwards, which is why we need those Pokemon mentioned before, and why I switched Arbok for Kangaskhan, as it's easier to use in bulk shining. Hey, so I wanted to do this explanation videos just so it'd be a little bit easier for you guys to understand, and it wouldn't be audio over video, as 8F can glitch your game out and have your save file corrupted. This entire explanation part of the video stems off of Austin John's video, so I'd highly suggest going and watching that and supporting him, as he did make it a little bit easier for me to explain it to you all. However, the process does stem from other people, and it's not specifically just from him. But he did an excellent job of explaining it, so please go support him. So what we have is 7 items. The first 3 items have to be something you can toss. Your 6th item needs to be an X special. We're going to be duplicating that item. And then a Master Ball, he catches a Missingo, but for me it doesn't work. So we're going to just keep trying to get encounter to get Missingo from the Old Man Glitch. So the Old Man Glitch, you go to Viridian City, you talk to the old man, we just passed out, our Pokemon died. Okay, so going back at it, we will be working on getting a Missingo, so you'll know you'll encounter one when the black string is super long. So we're going to just keep trying to get encounters until we get one. The glitch is still active at this current moment because Execute's not normally a Pokemon you get in the water. You'll know the glitch is still working if there's no Pokemon, like no normal Pokemon that you would usually get in the water. So this is Missingo. Yeah, there it goes. So that's how long that black string is. So if we go into our items now, you'll see that we have 129 X specials, or right there it just shows 9. You want to use 2 of them. And then use the Master Ball. And if it worked correctly, yeah, so right there we have 255 X specials. So I'm going to move back onto land just so it's a little bit easier for me. I'm going to move the X special to the 3rd slot, which is X accuracy. And what you're going to do is toss your first item slot, which is Carbos, which will give you 2 slots of X special, and then toss the Lemonade. So now you have 3 X special stacks, which are all 255. And so what we're doing is we're going to be tossing full stacks from the first one. I'm gonna do 3 first. And you can see now that I can't scroll down past 1 and 2. So right there, I'm stuck on the first 2 item slots, which is where you want to be. So the next thing you want to toss is 253 X specials, which will give you 2 left. And then you will combine them with the second one, so the first X special with 2, combine it with the second stack, which will give you 1 left, and then combine the 1 stack with the last one, the last stack, and now you'll have 0 X specials. So if you did it correctly, the item scroll glitch works, and now we're going to fly to Celadon, and head right. So you don't want to enter the next route, so we're going to stop right there, right in between the two routes, and go into your item list. So now if you try to scroll down, you can see you can go past cancel. So just keep scrolling down. For me, I don't have to do the A and B thing ever, but if you get stuck where it won't let you scroll, hit A and B and you can continue scrolling. So when you find the nugget, which should be above 6 Master Balls, you'll switch it with your first item slot. So scroll all the way back up, and replace it with the X Special 0. So now, if you walk right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps, you can see the route looks kind of messed up. So then walk down 6 steps, so there's 6, and then walk right 20 steps. So 1, 20. So on the 20th step, you want to switch out the nugget and scroll all the way down to where you see 8F, which is there. And in doing so, you have now obtained 8F, which I'm going to scroll back up just so our little cursor bit is on the right part of the inventory. So now you should see 8F. And you will fly back to any city that you want. So for me, I just always return to Cinnabar just so I know where I last left off in the game. Go into the Pokemon Center. Go into your PC, deposit the 8F into your PC. And I've had this happen where I deposited it and didn't see it, so there it is. So we're good. And then to get your inventory back to normal, go into the Pokemart and just buy any random 3 items. For me, I don't have a lot of money. We'll buy an Ultra Ball. And it has to be 3 items that aren't on the same slot, so don't buy like 3 Ultra Balls. And then a Hyper Potion. And if we go look, I now can't scroll down and I only have 2 item slots. So the glitch is no longer active, but we now have obtained 8F. And so if we go back, I can show you. Withdraw, and there's 8F. So to show you guys a completed list of what you would need, if we scroll back up, you'll have any random item in the first slot. I just have the Master Ball sitting there, so whenever I caught Pokemon, 8F, oh god, I forgot off the top of my head the number, because the numbers look really weird. It is 170 Lemonades, 178 X Accuracies, 218 Carbos, 119 Pokeballs, 170 Lemonades, 177 X Accuracies, 218 Carbos, 119 Pokeballs, and 201 Freshwaters. And then for our Pokemon, we have Pidgey with 233 HP, a Parasect, an Onix, a Tentacool, and a Kangaskhan. You don't want a 6-slot Pokemon. If you put any Pokemon in here, whenever you're trying to do anything, it's going to kind of glitch it out. So, I'll go show you inside Bills. If we look at our first Pokemon, which is this one, and look at the stats, you see how it's, passed out, but it's 0 out of 278. And if we do the glitch and activate it, so like so, you see that nothing happened. But if you go back into the box, I might have already shinied this one. I don't know if any of those stats changed. But you'll see that if it's at full health, the health will go down. Because most of the time the HP stat won't already be 0. So that's how the glitch looks, and basically you can do it on any Pokemon in your first slot. So what I usually do is I'll just withdraw the first Pokemon, deposit it back into the box, which then moves it to the bottom of the list. And so the top of the list is now a unshinied Pokemon, and then you just redo the glitch. Like so. And if we go look at that one, I don't know if I actually shinied that one beforehand. I might have. which I know the original trainer says red, which is really weird. But yeah, that is how you do those glitches. So with all those glitches done, the next thing for us to do is catch every single Pokemon and turn them shiny. So for this second half of this video, after this point, it'll be a secondary stream review of me catching every Pokemon and turning them shiny. So taking a couple of days to get everything set up, which for me took around 11 hours on a new save file for Pokemon Red, as I didn't want to mess with my playthrough Pokemon Blue save. During day 8, our main goal was to catch Pokemon in their Pokédex order, so we're able to keep track of what I do or don't have. During the time of setting up Ace, I caught Mew, Charmander, Tentacle, Paras, Nidoran, Parasect, Ekans, Drowsy, Magikarp, Diglett, Weedle, Aberrattata, Pidgey. Okay, we did not do Caterpie like I originally thought, giving us an introduction total of 15 caught Pokemon. Get back on it now, I probably should have just recaught all of these Pokemon on stream, but hindsight is definitely 2020. Back to Palatine, we head north and catch our second and third Pidgeys. Oh, we caught a Pidgey. Flying to Viridian, we head towards the Viridian Forest and catch another Rattata for Raticate. Cool, Raticate filled out. Inside the forest, we catch Weedle 2, Kukuna, 13 to 20 filled out now. Caterpie 1 and 2. Pikachu 1 and 2. And a Metapod. I think we caught all the Caterpie we needed. I had to reset up the old man glitch as I had forgotten to do it earlier and I didn't have enough rare candies to level up all the Pokemon. I also noticed afterwards that I was using my 233 HP Pidgey to attack it, which could have made me spend another couple of hours fixing it. Woo! Yeah, baby! Afterwards I wanted to see if I set up Ace correctly and it ended up crashing my game. I forgot an important step. After fixing it and getting the rare candies back again, we're able to evolve Pidgey into Pidgeot and then into Pidgeotto. Oh, so that's Pidgeot. Pidgey 2 into Pidgeotto. Cool, we're done with those. This takes forever. People used to do this as kids. Like, I'm cheating. I could not imagine doing this, like getting a full dex as a child. Then Rattata to Raticate. Okay. Beedrill Shiny's pretty okay. I still think Charizard's the best, but they intentionally made it that way. Weedle into Kakuna. Is Weedle and Kakuna just like a really low evolving? A level up to 10. You can get a Beedrill at level 10? Then Kakuna into Beedrill. Caterpie 2 into a Metapod, then a Butterfree. 10, 11, 12, 13 of them. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. After flying to Celadon, we're able to buy a Thunderstone, and we're able to evolve Pikachu into Raichu. And that's Raichu. Quickly doing the Ace glitch, we're able to turn all of the caught and evolved Pokemon shiny, marking us at a total of 26 Pokemon. Cool. So we still need Sparrow, so Route 4. So doing what I just said, we're able to catch a Sparrow, a second Sparrow for Pharaoh, and then we'll have a lot of the Pokemon done. And an Ekans for Arbok. While catching Ekans, I also remembered that there are version exclusives. Mankey Growlithe was an exclusive? Which are for blue, Sandshrew, Sandslash, Vulpix, Ninetales, Meowth, Persian, Bellsprout, Family Line, Magmar, and Pinsir, and for red is Ekans, Arbok, Oddish, Gloom, Vileplume, Mankey, Primeape, Growlithe, Articanine, Scyther, and Electabuzz. Exclusives in the future are going to be more of a pain to work with, especially for later generations, so right now we're just going to ignore it. We fly to Lavender Town and catch 3 Machops, 2 Zubats, 1 evolved to Golbat, and 3 Geodudes. Afterwards, we head to Seafoam Island, a place I didn't know existed during the actual game, as I had gone from Pallet Town to Cinnabar Island instead of heading through Fuchsia City. There we catch a Slowpoke. Well, I know the kind guy. A second Slowpoke for Slowbro. Oh, that's cool. 2 Seals. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how to say the evolution's name. Horsey, Shelder, a second Shelder for Cloyster, giving us a total of 37 Pokemon, which is also where we ended off day 8. Starting off the 9th day, I had issues with the 3DS stream capture, so the video feed had gotten really laggy during the stream. Now while making this video, I have a 3DS capture card from Loopy, linked to a shop in the description, which will fix all of the issues going forward. So during the stream, we ended up switching to a Pokemon Red emulator. During the next day, we switched back, but that's why the video feed looks slightly different. I always forget that this... Ow. That was loud. So while the stream was a little bit laggy, we catch a Bellsprout, a Sandshrew, and 2 Vulpixes, 1 for Ninetales. Solid 2 Vulpixes. We fly to Cinnabar Island and enter the Pokemon Mansion to catch Magmar. A secondary editor's note, we're doing the version exclusives for Blue. I don't know why I didn't put it in the strip. No way I one-balled fucking Magmar. Okay. Next Pokemon, Pinsir. Leads us into the next major hurdle of the challenge, the Pokemon Safari Zone.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
I didn't really like the concept of the Safari Zone, especially in Gen 1, where it's basically the most RNG annoying mess that they've ever created. So yeah, not that fond of it. Whenever we switch back to Pokemon Red, we'll catch all of the non-exclusive Pokemon, but for right now, we're mainly looking for Pinsir. After about 10 minutes, we're able to encounter one and catch it. It took 20 tries for this fucking thing to stay caught. Afterwards, we switched to 3DS, which, with how the stream capture works, the entire process of trading had not been able to be captured, but I had moved all the exclusive Pokemon over to my Red save. Additionally, during the time the stream had messed up, we caught a Mouth and Persian, however, this is when I traded them over as well. Transferring, we were able to evolve Sandshrew into Sandslash, Bellsprout into Weeping Bell, then into Victory Bell with a Leaf Stone. So now we have Weeping Bell to, Bioplume.
Huh?
Victory Bell. And a Vulpix to Ninetales with a Firestone. The rest of day 9 went to waste as I wasn't paying attention and my 3DS had died, having about 40 minutes of progress lost, so starting up day 10, we had to recatch all the Pokemon that I had originally caught. Dude, I'm pretty sure I just lost like all of that progress. Starting up day 10, we continue the process of catching all the Pokemon we originally caught on day 9 back in the Safari Zone on Pokemon Red. We catch a Rhyhorn. Cool, Rhyhorn cut. A second Rhyhorn for Rhydon. Execute, a second Execute for Executor. You have a very specific one kind of mapped out. Nidoran male, a second Nidoran male for Nidorino, a third Nidoran male for Nidoking. Venonat, a second Venonat for Venomoth. Right now we're just getting the evolutions done. I found out I have to go back and catch Nidorina, or 2 more Nidoran females, as I caught the wrong ones. We see a Nidorina, a Pokemon that I thought was the evolution of Nidoran male instead of Nidoran female, which led up to us catching an unneeded Nidorino, then a second unneeded Nidorino. Scyther. Nidorina. We don't really need... Yeah, we don't really need it. Bro. Bro. How many balls did we miss? That was a lot of balls. After about 20 minutes, I realized that we could use the Trainer Fly Glitch to bypass needing to do the 1% encounters for the Safari Zone, those being Scyther and Chansey. After struggling for about another hour, we set up the Fly encounters and we get Chansey. Let's see if we did it right. Woo! Chansey! Then Scyther. Shortly after, we finally catch a female Nidoran. Cool, we have all of the Nidorans. Afterwards, we trek into Mount Moon, where we catch a Clefairy and a second Clefairy for Clefable. Flying to Cinnabar Island, we enter the Pokemon Mansion to grab a Moonstone, and this is where we catch a Ponyta, a second Ponyta for Rapidash, dude from day 8, into Graveler. Like really hard, and then I saw Kuno. After spending the 20 minutes shining every Pokemon thus far, we ended day 10 with 61 shiny Pokemon. Sadly, we have to go back to the Safari Zone to catch 2 more Nidoran females. However, I wanted to go here to skip the evolution cycle and just catch 2 Nidorinas, one of them for Nidoqueen. Just like the little dwarf ones. We got the bad bitch Nidoqueen though. Afterwards, we go to Route 3 and get a Jigglypuff, and then a second Jigglypuff for Wigglytuff. Within the same time frame, we go to Diglett's cave to catch a Diglett to evolve into Dugtrio. Flying back to Cerulean, we catch a second Abra for Kadabra, a third Abra for Alakazam, which I cannot show because of the trade thing from earlier. We could catch the 2 Abra we need. Bruh. Then we catch a Oddish, a second Oddish for Gloom, and then a third Oddish for Vileplume. Then evolving Shellgear from day 8 into Cloyster, Machop into Machoke, and then we do the trades for Golem, Machamp, Alakazam, and Gengar. Post-trading, we return to Pallet Town to swim to Seafoam Island. On the way we catch a Tentacool for Tentacruel, a Staryu, and a Horsey for Seadra. Then we spend 15 minutes figuring out how to do the Water Rock movement, which afterwards we're able to encounter Articuno. That's such a weird looking sprite. And we caught Articuno. Afterwards, we spend the rest of the stream shining every single Pokemon that we just caught or evolved into, ending off the day with 82 shiny Pokemon. Off stream, I collect all the remaining items we would need to be able to get the rest of the Pokemon, specifically Super Rod for catching the water Pokemon. Returning to Cerulean City, we catch a Krabby. Oh, it's a bite! Number 15. We do need Krabby. A second Krabby for Kingler, Goldeen, a second Goldeen for Seaking, Psyduck, a second Psyduck for Golduck. One of the weirdest locations for a Pokemon in my opinion is Ditto on Route 13, 14, 15. I would have been under the assumption that it would have been in Cerulean Cave or Pokemon Mansion, but I caught mine on Route 15. I didn't even mean to catch Ditto there, but... I also encountered it twice in a row, which is 2 30% rolls or 9% chance. These last 2 days we got some god tier RNG for whatever reason. Heading to Route 7, we get a Growlithe. Yeah, I got it. Growlithe, we do need Growlithe. I'm very surprised you can find Growlithe here. What odds is that? A Mankey, and then a second Mankey for Primate. Flying to the Pokemon Mansion, we get a second Growlithe for Arcanine, a Coughing, a second Coughing for Wheezing, Grimer, a second Grimer for Muck. Returning to Celadon City, we Super Rod the water to catch a Poliwhirl. The limited edition, and then a second Poliwhirl for Poliwrath. In Vermilion Town, we finish and catch a Magikarp for Gyarados as well before returning to Pallet Town. While in Pallet Town, we fish again just for a Poliwag. Afterwards, we go towards the power plant and catch a Voltorb, a second Voltorb for Electrode, Magnemite, a second Magnemite for Magneton, an Electric Buzz, and encounter with Zapdos, marking the second legendary bird in 107 Pokemon. Exiting and flying to Route 11, we catch a Drowsy for Hypno, and then a Sparrow to trade for Farfetch. Wait, we got Farfetch'd! Heading towards the bike route, we Pokeflute for a Snorlax, catch a Doduo, and then a second Doduo for a Dotrio. Which ends off the 11th day, giving us a total of 112 shiny Pokemon. Day 13 was the final day and the longest stream I had done for Pokemon Blue. It also was one of the most insane RNGs I've ever had in a Pokemon game in a long time, so I'll be covering some of the encounters that happened. Before the 13th day, I had traded over the starters from other saves I created, which included 3 Bulbasaurs, 2 Charmanders, and 3 Squirtles, evolving them into Ivysaur, Venusaur, Charmeleon, Charizard, Wartortle, and Blastoise. Damn, he got that fucking ass, bro. We enter into the Pokemon Tower and catch a Ghastly, a second Ghastly for Haunter, a Cubone, and a second Cubone for Marowak. Afterwards, we set up the Trainer Fly Glitch and enter into the Saffron City Fighting Dojo to fight the second trainer to get Mr. Mime. We then return to the dojo to collect Hitmonlee, as Hitmonchan is easier to Trainer Fly Glitch, which we do through the bike route and catch it shortly after. We then head to Celadon City and grab the Gift Eevee. I tried to do the deposit duplication glitch, but it's just way harder to do in Pokemon Blue than Gold. We'll be using it in Gold, so I have to route out how we will Trainer Fly Glitch for Eevee. The best option was to instantly wipe on the first Pokemon from Sabrina in Saffron City, however what I learned is you have to talk to her to start the encounter. So the process was to walk onto Route 8 and lose to the Pokemon trainer there, go to the gym, lose to Sabrina, then go back to Cerulean to get the Eevee encounter, which took an unreasonable amount of time to figure out, but we were able to encounter 3 more Eevees. We then evolved them into Jolteon, Flareon, and Vaporeon. Which, you know what's funny is that in terms of male, afterwards we catch a Slowpoke and Celadon to evolve into Slowbro and trade for Lickitung. We finally head towards Victory Road, encountering Onix, and then Moltres. One of the harder Pokemon to get in the original games is Porygon, where you can only get it through the Celadon City Game Corner, which I did not want to have to spend 2 hours alone gambling, so we will Trainer Fly Glitch from Agatha's final Gengar, which has a ton of places to go wrong. After about 17 minutes and trying to make sure that the Gengar that we fainted on is the correct one, we're able to finally encounter a Porygon. Woo! Porygon! Caught! Afterwards, we have to beat all of the Elite Four members to be able to encounter Mewtwo, so we return to beat the game a second time. Once we're done, we go to Cerulean Cave and catch Mewtwo. I know most people typically see it as the final Pokemon, but I wanted to make another Pokemon the final one I had caught to finish the dex. So we head back to the Safari Zone yet again and head east to try to find a Kangaskhan, which we encounter within 3 tries, which is a 4% encounter. Shortly after, we encounter another one and catch it on the first ball throw. I'm not too sure, honestly. What the fuck? Okay. Leaving, we go back to Route 21 and encounter a 10% chance Tangela. Oh my god, what the fuck? That's a 10% chance to see Tangela, and we did it in 3 rolls. Tangela. While mentioning that Staryu is a 25% chance encounter, I pull it and catch it for Starmie. So we have a 25% chance of pulling Staryu. Okay. We then catch a Poliwhirl to trade for Jinx. We then train our Fly Glitch to be able to get Tauros, as I was not going to deal with it through the Safari Zone. Woo! Afterwards, we enter the Cinnabar lab and enter and exit multiple times to turn into Dome fossils for Kubuto and Kabutops. Then 2 Helix fossils for Omanyte and Omnistar. And an old Amber for Aerodactyl. I wish they did a pop-up for like them in the future games where you're able to see them once you obtain them. Afterwards, we fly into Saffron City to enter the Silph building to collect Lapras, as I had forgotten to do it earlier. I got Lapras! Returning to the Safari Zone for the final time, we catch a Dratini, a second Dratini for Dragonair, Dragonite. We have all 151 Pokemon. Soon. Then a third Dratini for Dragonite. And then after finishing shining the rest of the Pokemon we caught, we have a total of 151 Pokemon, marking the end of the challenge. Dragonite. We're done. That's all 151 Pokemon set up to be shiny, to be sorted out. That is every single Pokemon in this game that is possible to be obtained shiny. So there's only one thing left to do, and it is to go get our reward in this game. So we head to Celadon City, enter into the Celadon Condominium, and talk to the lead developer to get our Pokédex diploma. Ugh. Hey, so you guys may be wondering how things went. This challenge wasn't too bad. There was only a few spots that really bogged. You can especially tell with day 12. If you actually were there that stream, I really just wanted to get it done, but I had a lot more energy with day 13 as I knew that we were getting it done, even though it took us a lot longer for how long I usually typically stream. The entire challenge took us about 60 hours. 12 of that was the first playthrough, about 10 of that was setting up 8F and getting all the items and getting all the Pokemon set up, and then about 25 more hours, getting everything from collecting Pokemon and then shining them, and that's not including all the breaks that I took and all the other times in between playing the game that it really took me to get everything, like all the items, like the fossils that we needed, or setting up trading over the starter Pokemon and getting that all kind of sorted out. So that wasn't too bad. I could have definitely saved a lot more time, to be honest, especially with me not grabbing the gold teeth instantly. I don't want to go into these games and not kind of know what's going on, but I don't want to get guided, so that's my own fault, which hopefully in the future games is not as bad. Yeah, so what's next? After this video releases, which the editing took so long, I started editing this November 17th, November 16th, and now we're at December 17th. For the total hours I streamed, it was like 100 hours I had to go through and, rewatch pretty much. So, this was a really big challenge for me, even from, the perspective of playing the game, but to be able to edit it and actually make it a little bit watchable. So hopefully you liked it. Which if you did like it, please like and subscribe, That's really weird to say. I don't usually ever say that. I kind of just release a video and say whatever. So yeah, if you guys did like it, I would really love feedback, as constructive as you can. Keeping a little bit positive vibes, because this is a first time video for me. It is really massive. So, if you would like to watch the streams whenever they happen, I'll be streaming here on YouTube. I'll also be streaming on my Twitch page, twitch.tv/KunoDimitris. Then I have other videos ideas planned that don't involve Pokemon, so stay tuned for those. With that said, thank you for watching.